Greetings, HUD leaders. My name is Robin Talmadge, your Leadership Development Director. Welcome to another light, leader-inspired training event. July has been declared the B.B. Moore Campbell National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. Campbell was an American author, journalist, teacher, and passionate mental health advocate. She wanted to bring awareness to the unique strengths and struggles that BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color, face regarding their mental health in the United States. She spent her life working to tirelessly bring awareness to the mental health needs of the Black community and other underrepresented groups. Today, we will honor her legacy by addressing barriers that some minority leaders face in the workplace and demonstrate why mental health awareness is a critical leadership skill. To elevate today's discussion, I have invited Dr. Sarah Langley. Dr. Langley is the CEO of Lead International, a licensed clinical psychotherapist and a leadership development coach and speaker. Welcome to HUD, Dr. Langley.
Well,
We're
thank you.
so glad you're here. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your mission?
Sure. Thank you so much, Robin, and everyone. I appreciate your time today and having me. So I hope that we just have fun right here. And as you mentioned, yes, my name is Dr. Sarah Renee Langley of Lead International. I'm the CEO and founder of my company, as well as it's called Limitless Success Solutions. And my mission is simple. This is all about helping to activate and amplify leaders and optimize all organizations where I'm helping them to live, love, and lead powerfully and boldly without limits.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness. This is going to be such a great engagement today. So thank you for coming. So let's jump right in. McKinsey and Company's Women in the Workplace study and Lean In State of Women Corporate America reports that focus on both Black women and Latino women speak to barriers such as lack of representation, support at work, everyday discrimination, and penalization of being labeled too ambitious when trying to make a difference in the workplace. In your work, Dr. Langley, in coaching, consulting, and speaking to leaders, are these barriers common? And what is the impact on mental health?
Sure. No, that's a great question. So thank you for asking me that. Um, it is, in fact, unfortunately, it is common, especially among minorities. Women of color in particular have reported about having the lack of representation, lack of support, dealing with discrimination. Let's just call it out. And that can lead to stress and anxiety, among other things. So the fact that employees may feel isolated, they feel undervalued, they feel unappreciated, it does in fact impact mental health. So what needs to happen is we have to start recognizing the challenges. We have to start having the conversations. And I'm so glad that we're, in a sense, it's like we're in this climate right now where it's calling for mental health awareness. So we just want to make sure that we can start working on how to eliminate high absenteeism, job dissatisfaction. We need to now start talking about mental health awareness, which we're doing right now.
Yes, absolutely. So I am so glad that BB Moore Campbell fought for this month because there really are a lot of data surrounding it. And as you know, my focus is on leaders here at HUD. And so one of the things that I found was that the Workforce Institute at UKG surveyed 3,400 people across 10 countries to spotlight the critical role that jobs, leadership, and managers play in supporting mental health. When I read it, I found that managers impact employees' mental health more than doctors, therapists, and are actually even on the same level as one's spouse or partner. One or three say their managers fail to recognize the impact that they have on mental well-being, and 7 out of 10 would like their company manager to do more to support mental health. So I want to ask you, what role do you think leaders should play in promoting mental health awareness?
Sure. So leaders play a pivotal role in promoting mental health awareness within their organization. So it is a matter of being proactive, recognizing the signs, the struggles that their employees, their leaders, their managers, their customers, even within themselves, how mental health is showing up and the struggles that they face. So it's about how it may show up in the work-life imbalance. It can show up in terms of just having stressors that's going on that they don't know how to manage well. So this is important in terms of promoting mental health awareness, whether it's fostering open communication, providing a safe and supportive environment that people can feel open and comfortable in talking about the challenges and struggles without feeling a sense of being judged or perhaps even ultimately being terminated because of it. So it is important for leaders to play this pivotal role when it comes to um, advocating for mental health trainings, hiring someone like myself to come in and to help provide the resources that are made available to help with building up mental health well-being overall.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You spoke at having, someone come in here, and often in our work, it's not just kind of in the workplace, but we have and interact with a large variety of public customers and stakeholders. And often you can't always tell if somebody is having a mental health disability, unless we're informed in advance, ways that we can support them. And it usually doesn't affect our customer service, but if someone is experiencing difficulty in controlling their symptoms and or they come in crisis, what are some of the things that leaders should be doing to provide assistance to customers with mental health concerns?
Sure, that's a great question, Robin. Thank you for asking me. So, leaders need to ensure that their employees are trained to recognize and respond appropriately to customers experiencing mental health crises. So, whether it's some of the following that I can share with you: de escalation techniques, empathic communication. Again, communication can go a long way. Being able to know how to refer out to someone like myself for those services. I have trained high level leaders in different type of entities, government entities, top Fortune 500 companies, and these are the things that I've shared with them that I'm sharing with you. And honestly, as I was listening earlier to how everyone, I know that we're in this climate right now. Microsoft is going through what it's going through. Some or quite a few of you have been impacted because of the result of it. And I just really wanted to give you a tip. This may seem simple, but it goes a long way. Breathing.
Ah.
I know that, okay, we're all breathing right now. We're able to talk right now. We're still alive, we are breathing, but I'm telling you the truth, it is important to just do some breathing techniques. So I just want to share real quick a couple
Okay.
of exercises. So it can be something as simple as when you want to regulate your mood, your mind, and your mental health, it's a matter of doing something called the box breathing. And all you have to
Okay.
do is take your finger and do a box. So you would inhale as you go down, you will exhale when you go across, inhale when you go up, exhale when you go across. Another technique that you can do is the
Yes.
W. So let's say that you're sitting in a stressful meeting and you turn off your camera, you're like, okay, you know what? That person is my last nerve. And I need to go ahead and just kind of regroup and recenter and refocus. So let me just go ahead and do this for myself. So again, you would trace your finger and do the W. So you will inhale on the top, exhale
Hmm.
at the bottom, inhale at the top, exhale at the bottom, inhale, exhale. And finally,
Thanks.
yeah, you're welcome. And honestly, this last tip is it's just you being able to regulate your breathing. So being able to take a nice cleansing breath in, deep breath in through your nose for like 3 to 5 count, and then you hold it for 3 to 5 seconds or 3, 5 count, and then you exhale as and do it as slowly as possible so that you can regulate your mind and your mood and your mental health. So you can do that for 3 to 5 times. But then the last part of it is to shake it off. It's interesting that mammals are able to shake off after a fight. They're able to shake off what has happened, but us as human beings, we just seem to accumulate after and we keep pushing, we keep on pushing because that's how we're taught. However, this is about doing things differently to get different results. So, in reframing your mindset, it is a matter of you taking that time to just do some breathing techniques, being able to shake it off after and see if that makes a world of difference for you. I hope that was
Thank
helpful.
you. Oh my gosh, that was so helpful. And I will tell you, in supporting my leaders here, we've also had some mindfulness training in, and it's always one of those things where you're thinking, are my, leaders who are directors and, leading housing across the world and real estate developers, like, are they going to really want to do mindfulness? But they really appreciate it. And I appreciated that because it helped me to even calm down right now. So thank you. Back to kind of getting back to our questions, one of the things that I wanted to ask you was really mental health at work is can't be overstated, right? It's an impact to organizational success and well-being. Statistics show that mental health issues are the leading cause of absenteeism. I think you mentioned that before. And the World Health Organization, or WHO, estimates that depression and those exhibiting anxiety alone result in 12 billion working days lost per year. So I wanted to ask you, how important is a supportive mental health environment in the workplace? And what are some tips that you would give to leaders to support the individuals on their teams, and the organization, and things that maybe the organization should put in place to ensure managers and supervisors are supporting their teams?
Sure. Thank you again for asking that question. It is so imperative. It's vitally important that a mental health environment is secure. It is crucial for overall success for any organization. So that being said, I remember starting, I'm kind of dating myself because, I've been in this work for 30 years or nearly just
Wow.
about 30 years.
You
So I
said 13, right?
said 30. I know. I came straight
Right.
out. So, so yes, I've been doing this work for about 30 years and into the mental health field. And what I remember doing a presentation on stress management at a correctional facility. And we were talking about how back then in 2008, 2009, it was only estimated at 3 billion. I mean, that was still a high number, but it was 3 billion employees or days that was lost because of productivity, because of the fact that you had people who were so stressed, the employees were stressed out, burnt out, maxed out, and they needed to take a mental health day. But the fact that they didn't feel supported at their place of employment when it came to their mental health. So to hear from 3 billion to now 12 billion, and in terms of dollars and cents, because that also matters. I remember the amounts were about, I want to say maybe $300 million. I think that was
Wow.
lost the back then, but now, and so don't quote me, but I think it was either 300 million or something along those lines. But it's just interesting that it's now estimated as $1 trillion
Whoa.
in revenue.
Wow.
So that goes without saying that I cannot overstate this enough, how important it is for having mental health awareness in these conversations, to help with any organization to be very successful. So that being said, here are some tips that I want to share with you in terms of leaders that they can do and they can employ. Promote open communication. Cannot state that enough. Conversation, communication is key so that you can speak openly without the fear of the stigma of mental health and talking about it, because it used to be a taboo for some time, but because of where we are today in the climate that we're in, mental health is starting to be in the forefront. So take advantage of that. Open communication is key, so promote that. Providing access to resources. So I'm also part of, since my work in the mental health services and mental health field, doing something called the Employee Assistance Program. And so that is where is at no cost to the employee. They're able to can confidently have their concerns met with with confidentiality. So they don't have to worry about having to let people know in their organization that they're actually reaching out to a professional that's under the employee assistance program, that they can talk and do solution focused, brief clinical psychotherapy with their provider or with that therapist that is assigned to them for a few sessions. And then they can use their insurance after that to continue with their mental health care. So usually in organizations, I believe, Robin, perhaps that you also have this with HUD, to actually have that as a resource made available so that that can help with people with their mental health and mental well-being.
Absolutely. In fact, that was one of the things I was going to do when we wrap up today, is to really make sure that we provide all of the resources. HUD has a great employee assistance program that is available, and they have things that are available not just for all employees, but some things for the managers. In addition, we have an employee wellness corner that's at our HUD at Work portal. So all you have to do is go to that How to Work portal, scroll down. It's on the main page. On the bottom pages of links, go to the Employee Wellness Corner. It's going to give you ideas about what's on the calendar for employee mental health. It's going to tell you about, employee well-being. There's going to be some games. There's going to be physical activity. So many things, but also that employee assistance program, all the links, everything you need. And it's not just for mental health, it's for financial health, it's for legal health. And I think here's the thing, all of those things, whether they're physical or mental, really add to your overall well-being. And so, yes, thank you so much for mentioning that program. And again, for everybody, that will be in the chat after today. So I think we've proven through our stats and also through our, the bottom line financials, that mental health awareness is a critical leadership skill, and that leaders should work to ensure an environment that is safe and supportive for customers and teams. But one of the things I found, to me, that was, I guess a little bit alarming, and as a leader, I definitely feel it, but I found that this is pervasive. So, a lot of times I think people will think leaders don't feel this. But I found some data that said the C-suite leaders at that level, 40% of them, that's almost half, at the highest level in most organizations, are planning to quit in 1 year due to stress alone. So, Sarah, Dr. Langley, I know that in your practice as a coach to these high-level leaders, you do give recommendations. And what are the things that you encourage leaders to do to prioritize their own mental health in order to thwart a crisis?
Sure. So, I don't know about you, but I am the type of person, when I go on social media, I'll read comments from top to bottom. It could be 1,000 comments.
Not
The
me.
The reason why, besides being nosy, the reason why I do this is because I like to see how it started to where it actually ended, because
Oh,
it seems
that's smart.
changes when you go down through the thread, right? I don't
Yeah.
know myself, so I don't know if you remember where, if you were in a circle of people and then you're whispering something and
Yes.
when it gets back to the person, it's like it was a totally different thing that was said.
Exactly. The
So
telephone game, I think it was.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, and the where I'm going with that is, it's so important to know and how people are thinking and feeling. And I remember reading this thread, this post in the thread of these high level executives, C-suite executives, talking about, especially women of color. They were just being able to voice and to vent and to offload how they were feeling in regards to their companies, and they were willing to quit, even if it meant letting go of their security, letting go of their lifestyle, their livelihood, for the sake of feeling appreciated, for the sake of feeling valued, and being able to start their own businesses, because that's something that I've also had with many C-suite executives who have left their 9 to 5 to start their own businesses. And
Hmm.
hearing and understanding the plight that they were going through, it was so important, because many of them wanted to stay. It was just the
Yeah.
fact that they felt that, okay, they weren't being seen, like they were suffering in silence. And so here's what I would say in terms of having leadership effectiveness. I encourage leaders that I've spoken to just to do the following: set boundaries, being able to differentiate between work and personal time, and knowing and understanding that no is a complete sentence. Really is. Now, I'm not trying to have the cost, I'm not trying to cost you your job. So, move accordingly on that one. Like, into the battles, but when you're able to really establish boundaries, that goes a long way. There's nothing wrong with establishing boundaries for your own mental health and mental well-being. Being able to practice self-care. That is so important, to just to have
Yeah.
time of doing things that you enjoy. I find, Robin, and many of you that are listening, it's interesting how sometimes we just don't know what we enjoy. Sometimes we don't know what makes us happy.
Um,
If we can take the time to just actually jot down, asking ourselves and free associate, and all that means is you just take a pen and paper, and first thoughts that come to mind, stream of consciousness. Don't question it, don't judge it, just write down, what are the things you ask yourself out loud? What do I enjoy? What makes me happy? And the first thoughts, just write it and see if perhaps that can help to lead to something that's going to make you feel satisfied, fulfilling, relaxed. This is all about regulating your mood, your mindset, and your mental health. I also want to say seek support. No man is an island or woman is an island to themselves.
Okay.
So hesitate to seek out professional help like myself. You can join support groups. You can reach out in terms of to your leader and talk about, hey, I just want to learn more about the EAP program here. Also seeing if you can delegate responsibilities, if at all possible,
Good
so that
one.
you're not taking on all of the the workload when you start to see that you're maxing out, burning out, and stressing out. And finally, I'm dating myself, relax, relate, release. Relax, relate. This is the time to reflect and recharge, taking breaks when necessary so that you
Mm.
can recharge and gain perspective.
Relax, relate, release. I like that. I must have missed that movement. But I need to find it and get back to it. So, well, I thank you so much for coming today. We do have some of those things in-house, but we are always really grateful when someone with your expertise comes and shares with us those things because often some of us are coaches, we have mentoring programs, we have coaching services, so many things, but we get so busy that sometimes we just forget to do them. And then I love what you said about finding what you enjoy again. And I think people need to realize that that's also within your mental health, and that's also with your coach. Sometimes you outgrow your coach, or you may outgrow a certain service, or you need to hear a different paradigm than you've heard in a while. And it's so important. And that's why I'm so glad we were able to bring you in and just relax. I think it was more refresh. So we'll stick with the refresh R's as I think what you helped us do today. So, but before you go, I want to ask you, did you have any final thoughts that you wanted to share with leaders or with our organization in terms of best practices for mental health awareness in the workplace?
Sure. Once again, thank you so much for your time and just having me. I really appreciate you all. I always look at it as it's not by happenstance for our paths to cross, and I never take it lightly when I'm asked to speak and present, and to be able to pour and to instill to those who are listening. So thank you so much for this. And just to say that mental health awareness, you tapping into addressing your mental health. It is not a weakness. It is a strength. It is an absolute
Love
strength.
that.
And the fact that your overall well-being is so important. So treat it as such. It is important for the organizations to really don't look at it as a cost. It's an investment so that you can overall for your organization to benefit and profit and to be productive when you take care of your people, when you take care of your employees, your leaders, your managers. So make sure in terms of HUD as you are having these resources, inviting, someone like myself and others to come in and to talk more about mental health in leadership. Know that it is always about trying to make sure that you are making yourself top priority with your mental health. You don't have to struggle alone or in silence. So make sure that you make it a point. If you don't see it happening in your organization or your company, you still make sure that you are your top priority and you are your biggest investment. Invest into your self care, your mental health, and your mental well being.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sarah. I want to say just a few things in closing. First of all, our chat is going wild. So the last thing I want to have you do is talk about the best way to reach you. But before that, I do want to say that, mental health, like physical health, plays an integral role in our overall well-being. And it's in ways that often go unseen in the workplace. So if you who are listening, or those who work around you are struggling with mental health concerns, please know that HUD provides great support resources. And those resources are now going into the chat so that you can go and really find the support you need. And they're on our main page. Again, they are our Employee Wellness Corner, which offers links to a myriad of resources, and our Employee Assistance Program. So please make sure that you connect with those links so that, we can all feel as if our well-being is one of our great priorities, both for you and for your teams. And then lastly, like I said, the chat is going wild. We are putting your information into the chat right now. But what would you say is the best way to reach you, find out about your services, and maybe connect with you in the future?
Sure. So you can always go to my LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/. Dr. Sarah Renee Langley. You can also reach me on my website, DrSarahReneeLangley.com. So those are actually two of the best ways to reach out to me. And definitely, please feel free to reach out to me by email, hello@DrSarahReneeLangley.com.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming. And we look forward to hopefully having you again soon. Take care.
Take care.